I've been in football all my life. Doherty is a name that's synonymous with football. I'm sure you'll know my father, Tommy Doherty, who played for Preston North End and Arsenal and Chelsea. Went into coaching and management, and of course managed the great Manchester United and of course Scotland themselves, also at Chelsea. So there is a slight football background there for everyone to draw upon. When I was a young man, all you wanted to do was play football and coach and train. I was very intrigued as to how the coaching element played a big factor in a football club and in a player's career. And at a young age I took my coaching badges at 21, 22. And as it turned out, I got injured as a young man early on, badly injured. Managed to pursue my career through to 29 when I had to pack in through injury. And I'm glad I did my coaching badges, and this enhanced me and helped me immensely, in so much that having done my badges at Lilleshall, got my full coaching badges, it helped me as a young man to ply my career further and give back something that I'd learned as a young man. I've still got my natural enthusiasm to this day. So join Soccer Coach Pro and benefit from my 44 years professional experience in our wonderful game. I joined Burnley as a young man just after the World Cup when England won it in 1966. Of course, the great Bobby Moore, Geoff Hurst, Martin Peters, Bobby Charlton, Nobby Stiles and the rest of them. Wonderful names that just drip off the tongue. I soon realised that within 18 months I'd be playing against these players. Unbeknown to me, great privilege, but at the time just a far off dream. So it shows you what can be achieved with hard work, determination and a little bit of courage. I was fortunate enough as well as an up-and-coming young coach at Sunderland Football Club. I'd just finished my career through injury, as I mentioned earlier, and I was taken on as a youth team coach at Sunderland Football Club, and I was privileged to work with a group of young lads at that particular time who were 17, 18, 19. Some of the dads will remember the likes of Nick Pickering, who went on to play for England, Barry Venison, of course, who went to Liverpool and ended up playing for England, Alan McCoist at Sunderland, who I worked with, went on to play for Rangers, played for Scotland, and of course is now manager of Rangers. These three lads in particular, were players who I would like to think, under my tutorage, embellished their careers a little bit, and I helped them become the type of player that they became. I can only say help because they had natural ability, they had great desire, they had a wonderful will to win, and they wanted to do well. And of course, history states now that they all did so really, really well for themselves throughout the game. I'm now, hopefully, again, as I've said to you earlier, passing this on. I'd like to think there's another young man out there, there's another Ali McCoist, there's another Barry Venison out there, and there is, but is that person you? I got a coaching job at Sunderland. I then got offered a job at Tranmere Football Club as a young 29-year-old, but I felt at the time I was too inexperienced and didn't have enough knowledge of that side of the fence, so I turned that one down, but then took on the unenviable job of taking on the bottom club in the Football League at the time, which was Hartlepool United, and I lasted 3 months there. Very, very difficult, no money whatsoever. They had no idea of how the football club, or how I felt the football club should be run, and we just fell out with each other very, very quickly. From Hartlepool, I went to Burnley, came back to Burnley and worked with Frank Casper, and I had a wonderful time with Frank for 3 years. I had 6 months with Sam Ellis at Blackpool Football Club, and again a wonderful learning curve for me. And as you can imagine, we were travelling around the country as well, an awful lot as a family. My kids changed schools more often than some of you would change shoes, and it was again a difficult time, but a great learning curve. From there I went to join father at Wolverhampton Wanderers. From Wolverhampton Wanderers I went to Hull City. From Hull City, difficult one for me to remember all these now. I came back to Burnley again with Stan Tennant. From there I went to Gillingham Football Club. From Gillingham I went to Huddersfield. And Huddersfield I'm finally back at Burnley. At the present moment in time I'm actually working at Burnley Football Club again for the 4th time in my career. Working with kids from 9 years old right through to 16. I'm working through at the higher end with the kids who are basically a year from now are going to be taken on as professionals if they're good enough. And I've also got the sad job of telling them if they're not good enough. And it's now my job, again, and along with my fellow coaches, to try and teach these kids the rights and wrongs of how to be a professional footballer and to put into their psyche the best possible things that you can give them. And that's something that hopefully in my website I will be able to show you. Again, as I say to you, as young managers, as young coaches, or as individual players, that you will learn by watching my video. You've got to have natural ability and a desire to win, a good competitive edge. And as you get older, you learn, you know, you pick up things as everybody does, and experience teaches you all sorts of things. And until you've had that experience, nobody can promise you anything. But I think if you have the basics, where if you can pass a ball, control a ball, if you've got pace, more so in this day and age in the game, massive thing to have. If you watch all the top players of today, they're all rapid, quick. But if you've got a football brain, this can carry you through as well. One of the great coaching aspects of working with younger children, the younger end or the younger scale of things, kids from anything from 6 years upwards these days, my priority really is to let them play. My encouragement would be, you know, to let them play. Your own enthusiasm. If they make mistakes, don't worry about making mistakes. It's how you can redeem those mistakes. Always work with encouragement as a coach. Too much team games or team ethic is negligible really at a very young age. I would work on the basics, on control, on passing, on heading, all the basics. Again, they're growing gradually every year, they're getting bigger and stronger. But again, it's a word I use, is to prioritise things. As they get older, they become stronger in mind and body, and consequently the stronger will come through. The ones with a strong mind will come through. They'll go to the next level. Having spoken about the younger generation, you know, the up and comings, we now talk about what I would term the adults, players that have broken through into the first team, and not necessarily at a professional level. It certainly can be at an amateur level. You know, players who may never make professional status. The lads who play on the park, who, you know, love a pint after the game, who have a couple of pints on a Friday night and still play on a Saturday. You're still dealing with adults, but the one thing you've got to do as a coach, I believe, is to try and build a camaraderie together. But when the nitty-gritty comes down, and they're working with you on a Tuesday and Thursday nights, and they're giving up their spare time, sometimes paying £3 or £5 for you know, the choice of coming out and training with you on a Tuesday and Thursday night. This is remarkable to me, and some of the professionals in the game could learn from you lads out there who actually do that, because you're paying for the privilege of playing our great game. You've got to adapt at amateur level, and you've got to be able to sort of say, well, he can't be here tonight because of this particular situation, and you've got to take all these aspects into account. But the priority for me would be, can you get this group of lads together? Can you make them believe in what you're trying to put over? You and I watch games, Real Madrid playing Barcelona, you'll see a professional player making what we would term a crazy mistake, and he's getting paid £150,000 a week, and you're getting paid nowhere near that, and yet you make the same mistake. So it's something that, as a coach and a manager, you try and eradicate, and you try and get these lads to understand the importance of the team ethic. And if you do that, you're doing a wonderful job. And to win any trophy at any level, if you win the B League of your pub team and you win a cup, there is no greater feeling on this earth.